Hello, all. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. Tonight we actually have a guest with us. So first, make sure that you have a drink or roll up or whatever you do. It's really none of my business, but do whatever you need to do to wind down from the day. It's only Tuesday and it feels like a Friday, but we don't get the weekend. I'm not. And so tonight's topic is going to be on. We're each going to tell 5 things that women do that are mistakes in relationships. And so I'll let our other co-host introduce herself and then our guest.
I cannot hear nothing. Hi,
No?
everybody. I'm Rashonda. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
Can you hear now?
It's like really, really low.
Make sure you change your audio on your phone to come through the speaker. So go down to the three dots.
Literally, that's why I came on here early today.
Just to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will have our guest introduce herself, and hopefully by her talking, you'll be able to hear and then hear when you adjust it. So go right ahead.
Well, I'm Danielle or Yolanda, whatever you want to call me. I'm here to join the topic. God knows I got 1,000 things I'm not to do.
Okay, I'm better now.
Good. Okay, perfect. So everybody, when you come in, make sure that you speak and always be respectful of our guests. We are being vulnerable and sharing things. Because here's the problem, right? Here's the problem for me. We can always tell a man what he do wrong. It's so many cliches. Sorry, ass baby stuff too. And we know we do it. It's just only a couple of us that own our stuff. So even if we do it just because you done made me mad. I got PMS. I'm mad from something you did 12 years ago. We know that it's inappropriate when we do it, and we go in knowing that. So we be ready for the fight that's coming with it. I'm just saying. Own your shit. That's all I gotta say. So we will do a round table, or actually, Ro, do you want to start with the health tip? Are you able to talk now?
I am able to talk, but I'll do it at the end because I'm coughing too much.
Bless you. That's another thing. Allergies are really bad across several states. I actually saw it in the news. So if you see me scratching a lot, it's not color purple. I don't have no nasty woman's disease. I'm just over here itching real bad, like scratches everywhere. I've been tearing myself up.
And I have a real bad sinus infection. So
yeah, it's sinus and allergies. That's what it's coming through. So that's the tip for right now. Take care of yourself because it is real. So if you're feeling it like in here and all the itching, I don't know what is going on, but it is real. So
I'll do it. Y'all get a health tip right now. Everybody still wear your mask. I literally got on the airplane this weekend, and ever since I got on the airplane to go to Houston and come back, I've been feeling sick. People still sneezing and coughing all behind you, and them germs is coming right directly on you. And that's why now I feel even more sicker. But I didn't have on my mask. It's my fault. But I'm back wearing my mask again now.
At least she owns her shit. So hopefully Ro will feel better. Hopefully Ro will feel better. So who wants to start, ladies? Let's have, actually, that's my sister. So Yolanda, Danielle, whatever you would like to call her. 3. She's one. Ebony's one. She's a doctor. And then Shannon. She's in the military. They're all light too. Y'all all the same color. That's strange. Okay. Okay, so let's have my older sister start. So what's one of the things either in marriage or outside of marriage that you know we shouldn't do that we do? And hi, girls.
Communication is really big. I feel like sometimes, depending on who you're with, I know that certain relationships make you feel like you can't approach a person or say certain things because you don't want to deal with the outcome. And I know that because I dealt with it. You'll get to the point where it's like, hey, I feel like a person is doing something and I kind of want to ask them about it, but I don't want them to get too mad or, I feel like you really have to trust your intuition. You know the difference between if something is real and you just being overly dramatic, you know what I mean, really insecure. Everybody at the end of the day, when you go in your room, close your door, you are with yourself, your mind is going, your thoughts, you know, when you're doing something out of insecurity and when it's a real gut feeling. And a lot of times I feel like people don't approach that. And it's a true thing. You sometimes if you just sit back and watch all those things come to you, all those questions you have are given to you. But I feel like being in a relationship, I've done those things that feel like walking on eggshells, and I don't want to say or ask something because this is going to be a crazy ass fight. But if not, then you drive yourself crazy with the what ifs.
So I agree. That was my actual top one as well, because I'll try to be like, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. And that's actually in all of my relationships. I try to let things go because here's the thing. You may have something that's really important to you, so it's a big deal to you. And because everybody else is like, that's stupid, that don't make sense. First of all, I learned in my later years, that's something that really held me back from a lot of things, from talking, from moving forward, from doing anything, but specifically in close relationships, because those are the people that you do value their opinion. It's not like you could say, oh, I don't care what nobody think. If the people that's the closest to you don't support you, then it makes you, it's not cool. It's very toxic. And then when it does come out, what I will admit is that when it comes out for me, there was fighting. There was fighting for me. I've never hit a man though, but what I did with men is there was no back and forth. When we broke up, that's it. I could still be cool with you, or I could ignore you completely. So that's one of mine. Talk about things as well when they bother you. It doesn't matter if it's a big deal to somebody else. You didn't ask them how they felt. You're saying how you feel. So address it so you don't act a damn fool in the end, because you're not cool. It's bothering you. Rose?
I think probably my number one pet peeve is being insecure.
So you've been insecure? That's one of your things?
No, I'm not insecure. Okay. Dang, what have I done? I'm talking about the men.
But what you got about the men, that's a true thing, because they can be insecure.
No, this one is about us taking accountability.
I know I have to think. You know, I'm just so in on them. Me, I would say maybe sometimes I could be nonchalant about a lot of things. Like I don't care. And that hurts a lot of people's feelings, but that's just me. Sometimes I really do care, but it's just like sometimes I really don't. And I've been told that hurts a lot of people's feelings.
It does.
Or they could say I act too manly. I guess that's a mistake too that I've done in the past. They say I treat them like a man. Like I act like the man in the relationship. Like how the men treat us, that's how I treat them.
I feel like if the right person, you know, everybody's background is different, but we've all came from Pomona and dealt with our struggles and stuff. I honestly feel like the right man, I've seen the manliest of the women, you know, where they have the right man and they totally, it's different. They more, you're more, you know, you're more submissive, I would say. But it all depends, you know what I mean? You can't ask me to stop acting like a man if I got to go out there and check my own motherfucking tires. I'm going to say it, like, you know.
I will say that that's essentially all of us said the same thing, because all of that stems from communication. The reason why, and I think Pomona in our era is real. A lot of us would say stuff like, oh, well, I don't care. That's not my problem. That's not my business. Because the reality is, right? The reality is we were not punk ass girls. We was not finna be fighting everybody that said something or being upset at every boy that said something, or because we have things going on at home as well. We had other things. So when we get to school, what happens at home or whatever we may be dealing with is much bigger than that. So in the bigger scheme is, I could just beat your ass. Like that's how we used to think. And that was the reality. I'm not finna talk back and forth. We either gonna fight or it's gonna be over.
See, I just don't like arguing. I won't
I
argue
don't
with
like
nobody.
arguing.
I don't
hate
like
it.
arguing. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. You're not about to run my blood pressure up. But
That
I'll
part.
just say some cutthroat stuff that's going to shut you down.
I'm gonna
So
shut
you
it
don't
down
have
real
to
quick.
do it.
That's where I found myself. It's not I can't say
Cutthroat,
that
cutthroat. Like, I'm going
right.
straight for the
I
neck.
can't say that I really like arguing. I try my best to, hey, you know, let's make some sense of this. But sometimes stuff don't make sense and they want to keep pushing. And I know my mouth. My mouth will have you wanting to kill me. I know this for sure. You definitely gonna want to kill me after you get me going. So it's like, because I know this about myself, why take me there? If I'm giving you a couple of warnings and trying to walk off, don't keep following me around trying to argue with me, because now I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there and it ain't gonna be no stop. I'm gonna say some of the most hard shit. Like I said, that's just gonna make you want to choke me the fuck out. I've been down that line before. I know my mouth. So, but
I have
now
a couple
I've got
times. But
I've
the
got to that.
reality is, it still circles back to the same thing. None of us have ever been shit starters. None of us have ever done things. So the fact that it's coming to you anyway, your first reaction is me? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
And
okay.
I think
I
it's the
have
way
to call
that
my
you
sister
have to.
before from school. Right at school, like, this just happened. And she like, oh, okay, I'm on my way. Because it's just that we're going to handle this today. I don't have time to keep going back and forth. And the same is for me in relationships. I don't argue with my husband, no matter what we're going through, because we can talk. That's the thing. I didn't say we don't have disagreements. And I think that people don't understand. I don't have to agree with what you do. I have to hear what you're trying to tell me so I know how to treat you. But that's not what I want for me. And that's okay. It's not a back and forth either or. It's both.
That's true.
People
You're
don't
right.
get it. So
Yeah,
let's do another one.
communication is probably the worst thing. I think communication is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can
It is
just
because
shut down
body
and not say,
language is
I can
walking
shut down and
away,
just won't say nothing. I'll just
and
be quiet.
It's the way
that's
that it's
communication
delivered.
problem too.
Yeah,
It's the way that you
I'll just
deliver.
shut up and I won't say nothing to you. I
Me
can
too.
do that for a long time.
It's the way that you deliver stuff too. You know, I found that out in a lot of ways. You know, certain ways that we approach things or ask the question. You may not feel like you coming off harsh, you know, but you really are. That person is perceiving it a whole different way, and that's where you get your response at. You know, so sometimes you may have to dumb it down, use different words, just to make a person recognize, like, hey, I'm not asking you, you know, to be so defensive. I'm really, you know, asking you a real question, but our body language and all of that, the way you deliver a message or a question determines on what you're gonna get back.
I think that's probably my second one. How I deliver things. I'm extremely honest, and I'm extremely honest because I always feel like people bring their representative first, and then they show the other part of themselves, right? In an environment when you normally see me, I'm quiet. I'm the one that just looks like I got my shit together. I'm in the corner, whatever. But that's not the real inside me. And the real inside me, you need to know that person. You need
Right.
a bit different. I'm not being. It's certain things I don't know how to say different. I had to learn how to say them different, but it had to be from people that I trusted, because people said so many mean things to me when I was growing up. I was very defensive about people telling me stuff because I'm like, well, it's grammatically correct. That's the right word. I didn't say stupid, this and that. You don't realize communication is your body language, your tone, everything. And you don't know, because in your head, you're like, I'm delivering it like this,
I'm
but
saying
you're
it as
not.
nice as I can.
Yeah, you
See,
think
I'm
you are,
still
because like
learning.
in your head, it don't sound like what happened in your mouth. The way I learned is, remember when we had answer machines, mom recorded me talking and I was saying a regular like conversation, and I was like, why did I sound like that? That's not how I sound in my head. So that's one for me. And there's a few times I had to check myself in my marriage, mid-sentence.
I'm still learning all that stuff.
That's not how I meant. I think this is going down like I'm getting too upset about something that, no, I need to stop. And literally we'll talk just like that. It's okay to do that. It's okay to stop and say you're wrong. And that's one of the things I didn't do before. It would be like, if you can't, how you the man and you can't take this? Man, God. But I didn't talk right. I didn't. but I didn't know, but I didn't.
I
So,
still don't talk right.
meta communication, body language in a, I cannot see that, in a
In a clerical,
clinical or therapy setting, arms crossed. Yeah, I learned that too. I learned in emotional intelligence. So I didn't really learn about this until I got into HR. And you got to think, I didn't get into HR until I was 25. And then when I got in it, then it was predominantly white male. And I had to talk to them like, get the fuck out of my office. Like I had to say stuff like that because I had to let them know I was from the P and you're not going to talk to me like that.
right.
It wasn't until I got in corporate and got my master's. That was at what, 33? All that time, I'm thinking, as long as I'm honest, then it's okay. No, that's not okay.
That's offensive. You sure
It
can't do
is.
that now. You sure can't do that now. You would have a lawsuit on your head.
Girl, I got
Everybody is
out of HR. I
offended.
got out
Yeah,
of HR.
everybody is offended about everything. It's
Oh yeah, everybody get their feelings hurt. The world way too
I
soft.
couldn't do it.
Story.
I couldn't do it when it started to be the he, she, they, their. I couldn't keep up because I'm like, I'm just gonna call you your name. Like that's
and I
respectful.
don't even want to get into that topic because they ain't about to try to cancel me before I
But they
start.
ain't canceling me at all. I'm saying why I got out of it because I didn't want to be getting caught up in those. Why can't I just call you your name? But
Yeah,
you know, that's
it's a whole
again.
different thing. But yeah, that's communication is like that. I'm literally still learning because everybody, even just in my friend relationships, they say I'm so blunt, like you don't have a filter. And I'm like, well, y'all know what I'm talking about. Why? I mean, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but sometimes I feel like people need to hear it raw and uncut. Like if I'm just saying it nice to you, sometimes you're not going to get it. So you
That's
need
true.
to say how you need to hear it, how I'm going to say it to you so you can get it. Like it's not like it's coming from a bad place. I'm telling you how I feel. It's just unfiltered. People too used to, they want people to tippy toe around them or not tell them the truth of how they really are, like your true feelings. If I feel like that, why can't I tell you that? Why do I have to tell you in a different way to not hurt your feelings? But you can say whatever you want.
But you can say what you want to me.
Yes,
that part.
I've definitely dealt with that. I've definitely.
But I am still learning. I
all
don't
have.
know. God
what
got a
really
long
made
way
me-
with me because I'm just gonna
made me
say what I
sit
want
down,
to say.
Rosie, is that I realized like this was my second marriage that I'm out of, right? And I had to realize, and it was for some time, but I dealt with a lot of shit. And all I know is that if I ever decide to date or be in a long relationship or even get married, I guess again, I have to correct myself and know what I want to deal with and what I don't. And I know that my don'ts, I have to respond a different way, so I'm not getting that. And if I keep responding and being the way that I am, I'm going to keep getting the things that I don't want to deal with. So I'm really like working on myself because we you know, it's always the scales ain't ever right. You know, maybe one did more than the other, but you still play a part in something. So what I try to figure out now, what's my part? What did I play in? What did I say? How am I? What am I doing wrong on those things? Because all I know is I don't want to bring another nigga home like that and have to deal or go through those things. So it has to be something within me or my response that's bringing out certain things in people. And I'm not saying it's all me, but I
right. But you're owning your part. And that's all this is. It's not to say that anything is wrong. We're sharing the places that we went wrong because on the other side of it is I see how I went wrong and I see how that may be wrong to that person. So maybe that person's not a fit for me. That's why this next comment is really good. Sometimes people can't take the real you and they want you to break down for them. The answer for me is no too. I say shaking my head as well, because a lot of our friendships, we've had them for years. So when Danielle says certain things, I know exactly what she means. Just because it's not my preference of a word, I'm not finna sit there and hold up on it. What kind of friendship would that be from me? What kind of sister? So many people want you to break down to accommodate them when they know what the hell you mean. So that means you're not accepting me for who I am, but you want me to accept you for who you are. It's been too long for some of these people. You know, like you just don't have shit to do. You must want to break me down.
I can't be real with you, then I can't do it. Like I don't want nobody sugarcoating and making everything, just whatever. I want you want a person that's gonna be real with you, and I feel like the more people, if they can't handle it, regardless if they've been longtime friends or just, you just made friends with them, then obviously they just not for you. Their time has expired, because I don't want to keep dragging somebody along that I got a baby or do all those things. Like, no, this is me and this is how I'm going to deliver, because ain't nobody else in the world going to be 100 with you. I'd rather have Rosie tell me some, girl, that shit fucked up, versus somebody being like, oh, no, not really, no.
Oh,
Tell me exactly
because
what
that's
it
how we
is.
talk about other people. We be like, oh, you ain't shit for that. So if you tell me, oh, Asia, you're not shit for that, which you have done, I'd be like, I know. Right. I meant to do it, and I would do it again. Like, just whatever it is, own it. And Daddy, I have. I own my shit. I'd be like, so
We're at the age now where you really have to start owning up the shit. I don't have time for the extra.
yeah. Projection is very real. Accountability is the key, and communication, emotional growth. I really think people should do two things. I'm going to give two suggestions right now, and I swear they're really easy. One is read the 4 agreements. That see things differently. Like, it's not all about you. It's a real statement. That means somebody could be upset. And if they're upset and you're trying to approach them and they give you the upset version, you don't get to take that personal. You saw they was upset. You should have gave them a minute, or if it's that important, accept that they not finna be talking to their customers. They're going through something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Give them a damn minute. And then the other thing is emotional intelligence. On emotional intelligence, read them. They have real stories, and so many things just click. And I'm being for real. Those are two good things.
You can definitely, even with co-parenting, and I had to learn that, and I should have did it in my marriage. If I feel like, the kid's dad is not talking to me in the right way, let me go ahead, get my daughter and go in the house. How about we talk later? I don't like the way you're talking to me right now.
And that's okay.
Do that when you're with someone. It sucks that I waited so long for us to get to this point, because I was walking on eggshells on certain stuff. But now it's like, what really did put me there to be, I'll be honest with you, we not together. We ain't sleeping together. You're not paying no bills here. I ain't got to listen to none of this, but it should have took me that to learn, like, hey, I don't have to accept the way that you're talking to me just because we were together and in a union. I should have never, if I felt like you were doing something,
that part right there,
I should have corrected from the jump. Versus
that part right there.
Like, hey, this is how you talk to me. Like, no, you need to. I feel like in relationships, acceptance is a big thing. We just accept a lot of stuff, and even if it don't feel right, we still accept it to make another person feel good.
I think so. Also, the accountability piece. There are certain things, like, I could have easily told people, well, at least I'm telling the truth. At least I'm telling the truth. And I'm not using mean words. You just don't want to hear me say something like, no. And that's it. I'm not going to give a whole explanation and all of that. But because I love the people that I love, they matter in my life. I want them in my life, and I want them to be able to be comfortable talking to me and knowing that I care about how they feel. Yeah, I will change some of the things that I say and how I do, and my body language. And my biggest one was not making eye contact. Like, if somebody needed my attention, depending on what it is, I wouldn't turn around. I wouldn't stop what I was doing, because I can multitask. That's not the point. I didn't ask you what you could do. I'm telling you what I need from you. And that's what a friend, a child, your man, and any of that. And I love that my sister brought up a covenant. When you have a covenant, it's no longer about you. So even if that man was paying all those bills, doing all of those things, that still don't give him the right to talk to her like that. But it don't give her the right to shut down and say, I'm not going to say nothing. Sure. That's the way it really actually works. And people don't get that part. You got a part too. And people will walk away. I did everything right. Okay, well, like, did y'all talk about it? No, I don't have time for his attitude. Then you didn't do everything right.
That's true.
And that's when you can admit and start to look at some things, because your partner may need you. And they may need you to talk. They may be going through something. That's a part of communication and body language. Dealing with people like that is energy draining. It's energy draining depending on who it is. There are some people that I just think that they try to find fault in you as much as they can. And it seems like everything you do, no matter how you say it, you get to a point where you even practice it and talk to somebody else first, and you go tell them. And because it's not what they want to hear, or it's because, or if it is exposing a lie that they told or something like that, it's not going to be
True story.
not all about me. It's not all about me. And
But
those
it's
people
like
you
you
have
can't
to
even
separate.
nowadays. You can't even afford to even deal with people like that. Like if somebody is draining like that, it's like it's no reason for us to even be around each other because I don't need my energy off because of you.
That's true.
It
No,
don't
it's
matter who it
very
is,
true.
a friend, husband, anything. If somebody is literally draining your energy all the time, like it's a no.
It took a long time though to learn that because I felt like even being it's different. I feel like dating someone and actually being married. You're dating someone or just boyfriend girlfriend, you're not gonna take as much, after
Right.
the marriage. We were all raised, hey, when you're married, you go through thick and thin, so
Right.
you end up accepting more. And I did a lot of the things that I did was because like, hey, this is my husband, so I'm gonna go through and deal with it. And maybe this had changed, but it changed. It didn't change for the good. It just got worse. And it was like now hey, I'm talking to you like this now. Let me try to see if I can do this. Now let me try. Now the shit just disrespectful. Now
I feel like
I've
if I
lost
would have
all
talked
respect.
more in the beginning, a lot of things that happened wouldn't have happened because
That's so true.
my other thing is my transition, and both of them know because I'm very the people that are in your wedding that you asked to be in your wedding, those are the people you're supposed to talk to about different things that you're going through. And then also you keep your good girlfriends that give you I like honesty. If you gonna tell me some like real raw stuff, make sure it's just me and you,
Mhm.
and I'll accept it. But nobody can ever say that they told me something and if it was true, I just flipped out or nothing like that and be telling the truth. But what I learned is that because my husband had children and those other mothers, I kind of separated myself. But I separated myself thinking I'm respecting their space as the mothers of their children. And so when they got something doing the right thing, but then I realized in that separation, I was allowing space for a lot of fucking disrespect. I
Yeah,
was.
that's a look. That's a whole nother
It
chapter
is,
in
Whole
the
but
nother
I'm admitting
podcast
where
right
I was
there.
wrong. I did that though. But I'm
Yeah,
admitting where
all of
I
us.
was wrong. I
yeah.
did that. I should have talked more in a space where I was like,
Mhm.
I'm staying out of that. No, it's no, I'm staying out of that. That's my I
Especially
definitely have a say so.
if you're
Huh?
married, I think is no. I guess it should matter if you're not married or not. If you living in the same house with somebody, you should have a say so. That's
Hell
just a
yeah.
whole. But
Absolutely.
I
You're
think
an adult.
communication. I can understand, but I literally, I understand what you mean about that. But I still feel like if like you said, if you would have communicated about it more in the beginning, you would have put boundaries on it. Like, but
Right.
it's like you like, okay, that's his baby mama, that's his kids. I don't want to get involved. But in when all actuality,
Because you can
you
only
really
do
should
what's
have.
allowed anyway. My background is very different. I
Right.
have I have people in my family that two people was together, they had two kids. She kept the name, went and had a baby by somebody else, gave her baby our last name, and she still got her daddy, and they come around. When you're family, you're family. That's how I grew up. I didn't grow up treating a kid any different. You don't know
Right.
who's blood in my family or not. Hell, sometimes we forget that because that doesn't matter. I didn't
That's
grow
true.
up with it like this. So I don't really know how to like
You
deal in
supposed
that
to though.
space.
I mean, we've all. I mean, I don't know if we all, but I've dealt with the kids in the marriage too, and you know, I just as people will definitely tell you, I've always treated whether you wouldn't have known that that was my stepdaughter if that was my daughter. Why am I going to treat? I accepted. Was it hard? Absolutely, but I'm not going to sit. Why make things harder? Hey, if we can all get along and then how it's supposed to be, where we, not the extra shit, then we can all be a family. Hell yeah, let's have birthday parties together. Let's do that because
But that's the
it's
problem. They
supposed to be
all
to that.
operated separate. They operated
Right.
separate before me. And I was like, no, you should be able to come
It don't
over. You
supposed
should
to
be able
be
to
like
do
that.
this.
And this, I've seen everybody always think, when it's like that, like, oh, okay, well, I don't want my man associated with her because they're gonna be messing around. But you got to realize people move with their own lives, and there really is
Right.
a such thing as, hey, they have their husband and wife there. we have
Right.
I'm married over here, but you know, during we still have that family time where we get our kids and stuff together, and the
Right.
husbands are able to talk, the wives are able to talk with no drama. It's not easy, but you know, it's people do it.
I was fine with doing it. I really was, but I was the synergy actually. They don't communicate like that, and that's foreign to me. So it made me very. It makes you shut up. It's like if y'all can't do it, then what do I look like? I'm here if you want to talk. And some of the things that was said, I had no problem saying, yeah, that's not going to work. But yeah, make sure you don't talk to me like that. And I literally said it like that. You know how I am. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. As long as you don't do that, we can be fine. See, don't bring that. I don't do that. Don't do that. Like, no. But it didn't work. So I didn't, I don't know if there's anything I could have done different other than communicated, but those are
That's
grown
all you could
people.
have done was communicated. That's
Right.
the
Those
only
are grown
thing.
people. I don't have no say. I don't have any say on if I wanted to sit at the table and we all talk and let the newness of it all, because we got married. One of the other mothers got married, and I was like, well, if everybody's moving on, this is the perfect time to like restart,
Yeah.
get together, everybody let it go. And it just it didn't happen. But
It's not an
Blended
easy
families
thing.
are actually normal now, but it's a lot of people don't know how to deal with blended families. Like
they
as you
don't
said, you
blend
can
them.
have they don't blend them, and then it's people that still might have feel away about the baby mama or the baby daddy and all that. So they not gonna deal with the person that the man is dealing with now. Like they make it hard for it to be a blended family
Sure.
because they still in their feelings about
They cause
something.
as many
Right. They
problems as
bringing
they
their feelings
can.
into the situation.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like that's a whole other topic.
Yep.
It is, but it, it is. That's what ends up happening, but that's one of mine. So anybody else want to share one of theirs?
Um,
Because I got plenty of things I could have did
I,
different.
I'm trying to
I
think different. Oh, maybe no, I don't think that. I don't know. People in the audience tell me maybe I could have cooked more. I still don't cook now. But is that really a deal breaker for a lot of men for women
it's
not to
not a
cook?
deal breaker. We're raised
It
like that, but if you meet you a man, my kids right now, they got two girls that don't cook. They don't, and they treat them like queens. Now I went in at first, and Asia will tell you, oh, they don't do. Their husband work 9 to 5. They need to be up making a meal. He needs to come home to a hot meal and stuff. But then my mom even had to tell me, like, baby, that's you. If they happy and they fine, you can't force how you was raised or what you
right,
expect on somebody else. So it all depends on who you with.
right. That
Yeah,
was
I'll say that.
You
I
guys,
just didn't know if that was a deal breaker or not. Nobody really said nothing, but I don't know if in the back of their mind they feel like her
I
raggedy
think
self
that
ain't
everybody
cooking.
likes to be pampered. I think that that's a
of
love.
course.
It depends on what the male's love language is. And sometimes it is a meal because we make the plate, we serve. I think that it's nice. I don't, some people it is a deal breaker
I
because
need you
some
to be
people are
healthy so
very
you can go to
traditional.
work tomorrow. It's like, here goes your plate.
I don't know. I'm really trying to think of what I did. I honestly be thinking I'm good. Like, but I need somebody to tell me what I did wrong. I only really could think it was communication, like communication. And now I'll communicate more, but I can't think of nothing else I did. I was never jealous or insecure or nothing.
Right.
Tell me something, Asia. Let me see if I did it too.
I mean, I don't know. I just have the communication, the
Working too much,
Oh
acceptance.
yeah, I worked a lot,
working too
but
much, and
You know what?
being
No,
too
Asia, that
career driven.
depends. No, working too
no,
much depends though, because I worked my
no,
ass
that's a
off in my
mistake.
marriage. But it depends. Are you
No, I could
working
have
too
done it
much?
differently
Are you working too much because you have to, or are you working too much because you want to? Two separate things.
because I
Yeah,
wanted to.
I worked too much because I wanted to. If I could work a lot now, I would.
Yeah,
See,
it was because I
I
wanted
am a
to.
workaholic, but I did it more or less because I had to. But if I do have a job that I like, yeah, I'm gonna keep putting my all into it. But
But you still can work a lot. To me, you can still work a lot and make time for your spouse. So
it's
why was
But
that
see,
a
that's the
mistake?
problem,
that's
Ro.
where you
That's
have
one of
daytime.
the things. If they are telling you that they need more time, then you can't work a lot and do it. They're telling you you're not available. If you're not available, there's a problem. It's not
So
based
no,
on what you think.
that's where that time management comes in. Then
Right.
now you got to make that time. Date night, hey, I'm gonna work up until this time, and then at
Yeah.
this time, this is gonna be our time, you know, to
Yep.
do the dirt or do whatever, you know, it
But
is that
that's
needs to
why
be done.
dating is still so important. Even if you work a lot, you can work 80 hours a week. But if you say we're going to have date night every Wednesday, you got to make sure you still do that. Like you still got to
Right.
make time
It could
for.
be based
Right.
on what the person wants. So for me, I did work a lot. Again, head down in the computer. So I got to the point where, because I realized it was a problem because of some of the little smart ass remarks he would make. When I would hear him coming up the stairs, I would hurry up and shut my computer. And then
Yeah,
because
you were
I have
doing it too
I
insomnia,
much.
I would get into bed with him. Once he went to sleep, I would slide off the
Let you.
side and go back and work. And a couple times I
That's
would
too
crawl on
much.
the
You
floor
need
under
to
the
sit
covers,
down
but you know, it's okay. But those are the things that you do when you love somebody, because they just want your attention. Men want to be baby too.
They
They might
do.
just want to lay on you without your phone in your hand, and you rub their head and watch whatever they want to watch. They just want you. If they don't want to date, they just
So
want you.
that would be this next thing would be compromising.
Yeah,
You
Yep.
got to compromise.
compromising. Yeah, okay. I can say compromising then too. Thank you.
But I've always
Compromising.
compromised. I just didn't. I've always dated very do what you want to do, men. Do what you want to do. But then when I do what I want to do, they be like, why are you doing? I told you, oh boy, told me I wasn't domesticated. Corey, I'm not no damn cat. I was like, what are you talking about? And then finally he just said, do you ever just think I want my hair rubbed? And I was like, you got waves. Why would you want your hair rubbed?
Right.
Girl, you better rub the wave down.
Well,
I'm
you could have
telling you
brushed
the
them. You could
things
have
you
been
don't
brushing them.
know that you're doing that is not pleasing. In your head,
Yeah.
start saying more to what they want and stop acting like they don't want anything, because
That is
you're not helping us.
true.
What we're
That-
learning from is the mistakes from what our homegirls say. It very seldom comes from a partner. He was the only partner who told me exactly what he wanted. When he finally
Well, that's
realized
good
he could
though.
tell me and I wouldn't get an attitude or offended, he told me. Then he got what he wanted. And then also remember, I stopped getting up in the middle. You know, I would set my alarm to get up 30 minutes before him, run in there, brush my teeth, wash my face, fix my hair, and get back in bed like I was you like that. He was like, one day you're going to be very tired. You're going to pass out. I was like, you're up. Girl, he did that for 10 months. I'm telling you, the things you think you're doing, and you think you're such a good woman. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And they looking like, I didn't
That's
ask
why
you for.
and exactly that's why I said I don't know what I didn't do. Hell, they need to
Sometimes
tell
it can
me.
be
Did you
something so
ask?
simple that we
But
don't
you
No,
never
I didn't
asked.
ask. I didn't ask.
So then that's something you did wrong. You didn't communicate. Like, you have to ask in a
No, that's
relationship.
what I said. My communication was toe up. I admit that. So that's why I'm saying
So it
other
stems
stuff.
to all the different areas.
Yeah. Okay, what's another thing, Asia?
You couldn't
What's the
possibly think that was okay.
they what they want in the bedroom. I feel like a lot of people don't really express that because they're going to be embarrassed or whatever. But communicating of what you were into.
I wasn't good at that either at first. Then I decided to write a whole list one day. Lists work for me.
Well, that's why they say you should learn the 5 love languages. Like when you're dating, you need to
And that's
learn
when I learned.
all everybody's love language so you can know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
I know I would do that in my next relationship. I'll learn the 5
I
love
think there's
languages.
even a book about it where I keep telling myself I'm gonna get and read.
It is.
It
It's a
is a
book.
book on
It's a
it.
quiz you can take so that you do
Uh-huh.
you answer the questions and then you send yours to your partner. I'll send it to you, and then your partner sends theirs to you, and then you learn what they want. And
Love
I was
language.
surprised.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
And attention. And that's not actually, well, I didn't think that was me. That was the guarded me. I didn't want you to touch me because touching is emotion. Hugs, if I don't trust you, don't hug me.
Yeah.
And then words of affirmation, you full of shit. I don't need to hear that from you. I don't want that compliment. That's how I was. But when I started to trust men in particular, my love languages was yes, personality traits is really important, and
Very.
learning how somebody grew up as well. because some of that is
Yes.
coming with them, whether they
Yep.
admit it or not, is going to come with them, and it'll help you to have those difficult conversations. Here's the other thing I would do different. I would have more of the difficult conversations in the beginning.
Yep.
If you have a difficult
Yep.
conversation when it's not a confrontation, you talk
Mhm.
about it better, you plan it better,
That is true.
and then, you know what I'm saying? It turns out better. Just like that's why I think you should have a paternity test at the beginning. Both of y'all go down there and get custody of the baby. Then guess what? That can never be a threat. Get
Why
a
you gotta do
prenup.
that?
It can never be a threat.
I mean, true, but then that all depends. Who's holding around?
Oh, yeah, it's always a asshole out there. Or a time when it's not appropriate. Like, yeah, this is both of our kids, but you're not doing what you're supposed to, so you're not being a parent. Like,
Gotcha.
ghost person. Like, you don't get to just come up and make my life hell.
That's true.
So yeah, I think that. But hell, it's mothers that get the kid and they just leave it somewhere. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's one of mine. To talk about more things like the what ifs.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you should talk about all that stuff in the beginning, but you be so lovey-dovey and all that. It's
You
like
do.
you don't want to mess all the stuff up. But in actuality, in this day and time, you need to do that. But it's almost like, dang, when is it too early to talk about it? Like, I feel like I need to know this immediately so I can know if I even need to waste my time or not. Like, I don't want to find this out later on down the line, but then somebody be like, well, why would you ask somebody that on the first date? Like, when it's too early to have those
It
conversations.
don't even have to be on the first date. I mean, usually when you real fresh and easy, right? When y'all just start off, that's when people, hey, I want to talk to you until you fucking fall asleep. What are y'all talking about? I didn't talk to you on day 2. Hey, let me bring this up. If it crossed your mind, why not be able to bring it up? Because now you know this is the type of person I am. Shit crossed my mind at random moments. I'm gonna ask you about it.
I
Yeah,
agree.
they're gonna be
I do
like,
too.
I'm a lawyer or something. Like, girl,
Well,
shut up, actually.
no, it's not like that. It's like you make a game out of it sometimes. Like some of the things that we did was like literally writing lists. Tell me these things that you do. Tell me these things that you don't like. Tell me these things that you know make you an asshole.
Right.
Just stuff like that. Because at that point, you're laughing at it. It hasn't impacted you yet. So you like, damn, you did all of that. You are so funny. Me too. Then when it
lets you
happens,
know, I feel like
right.
when you have big discussion like that, Rosie, then it lets you know, like, you ever been with someone and they don't feel like they did anything wrong. Like you have some men that
That's scary.
are narcissists. They won't admit up to nothing. And sometimes you don't find that out until later down the line. I want to find that out right now. So
That's why I want to talk about it at the beginning. If you can't
Yeah.
openly tell me at least 3 things at this stage, if you can't tell me 3 things you've done, and you in back-to-back relationships, and all you talk about is slaying your dick everywhere and everything else you do, but you can't
Exactly.
tell me 3 things. Come on,
Just at
that
least
means
tell
that's
me why
all
you
you were
broke up.
doing.
Why did your last relationship not work? What was the reason? And
Shit,
don't say it was her.
Look, according to Future, everybody was toxic except for him.
And we
But
all know he the one.
I'm like, wait, everybody is toxic. Everybody does have a toxic trait. Yes, some people have sex on the first date and then they find everything out backwards. That's on them. But
Yeah, you have after, and then you have
no.
sex on the first date. Then after that, y'all should be able to talk about everything.
Come on.
Yeah, once we didn't got that, hell, exactly what she said. We didn't got naked and did the most.
Because when I watch my African movies, honey, they be asking all kind of shit. They be like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna put you on probation. The man said, oh, okay, I can respect that. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a week and we gonna see how this go if we in love. A week.
A week. No, that, and see, that's why
week.
people shouldn't. I feel like now you shouldn't have sex that fast because they stuff could be so bomb. You gonna skip over all them red flags.
That don't
You
make
ain't
you
even gonna
skip
want to
shit.
know.
See, I feel like that's where you're wrong because that only lasts for a little while. Once you
That
come home and
part.
shit, you still ain't in love.
I still want the answers to my questions.
Yeah.
But you
But
know
it's
what,
still-
Danny? You said something earlier too that people don't think about, and I think I did a show on this. Stop and actually take a minute to get to know yourself and know what you do not want. That's better because if you get all of these things that you want, you haven't seen the don't wants yet. But if you focus on, does
What
this
you
person
don't
have these hard stops for me,
Mhm.
these things, then you won't even get involved because you'll ask the right
That's
question.
true. It's certain things I know that we are the same in certain ways, but certain things you know that you're just not willing to deal with. And I've actually, I've met someone and it's been like, you start doing things that maybe my ex-husband did that was in the bad way or kind of that narcissist way. I'm not doing this. Why keep playing the game? I already see how you are.
Yeah, you already see it in the beginning that what you don't want to deal with. Like, no,
go
sir.
ahead and cut it right now.
Bye, sir.
Yes, Juanita, they just naked and dating and doing the most. And they ain't on no dates, they Netflix and chilling. What do? Swipe if you want to do it, swipe it this way if you don't.
What is it? Tinder.
Yeah, that show is Good sex and intimacy is amazing, and it's even more amazing when you get married. It's also during that time I get a lot of information out of him. He's very comfortable at that time, so I ask a lot of questions.
Good sex and intimacy, you have to really know each other, like we said. So you got to already been asked those questions and everything, because then you know that person. That's the way you have intimacy. You're not going to have that when you just have sex with somebody on the first date.
That's why people don't know the difference between loving somebody and being in love. You are not in love with everybody that you're with.
Infatuation is a real thing, and people can go years being infatuated with someone. That's a real thing. It's not just everybody think infatuation is just for a little while. No, people can go years of being infatuated with someone and then come to realize the whole time that they was never in love
at all. So I was watching Nick Cannon last night. When he did this, they don't want to deal with yesterday. They want to go ahead and F up today and then blame it on not healing and then do all this other stuff. But Nick Cannon, like, how did you get, to this many? Was it all of these things that people said? And he was like, no, it just happened. He was like, I wanted each one of my kids. He was like, it just gets a certain point in your life where people was like, I want a kid. So basically they was going to him like, I really like you.
And of course,
they was. So
he was saying it was them.
Like, I'm gonna drop it on you. I'm gonna drop it on you. Yep, you like you.
That's what he was doing. But this was the reason why. And he said even his therapist was like, what are you doing? Because it's not that, it's that you're saying you don't want a relationship, you don't want this, you don't want that, but you're having children and they're all in these different places. How are you going to make this happen, especially with your schedule? So they actually went through. The first thing that he did was he was like, when I got in the game, I wasn't out there like people thought I was out there. I wasn't sleeping with people. I wasn't doing this and that. So I wanted to see with where I am now, and I can basically get anything I want. He said, especially after Mariah Carey, if I could not have sex. And he said he did not have any form of sex for 6 months because he wanted to see, am I a sex addict? And it was actually tied back to the trauma of, he was hurt from his divorce. He was hurt from his divorce and he just wanted love. Men want love too. But that's what he found.
But Candy, come on now. You having sex with all these women. So you making it seem like, I don't believe that.
I believe it absolutely. That's the problem. People don't believe that men can do the same thing women can. Women can sit there and have sex with this ex, that ex, and that ex. The only difference is she can only have one baby at a time. You know how many people
was sitting up there? If you saying that you want love and you feeling like that because of Mariah Carey, why couldn't you just be with one woman? You're having babies.
He didn't figure out that it was because of, that's called trauma. He didn't know until he went
until he had when did he figure this out? After the last baby?
Hold on, you cut out a little bit.
I think that he wanted the kids, in general. But as far as sleeping together, I get that because women, what Asia did is true. There are a lot of women that sleep. You got women that sleep and don't even know who the fuck they baby daddies are. Because
I know one that had 150 partners in 1 year. How did you keep track of that?
Listen, how can you keep track of that?
I really want to know, and I'm not lying. It was 150, and this is how bad it was. Of us that wouldn't even get on that platform, and it stretched from Vegas all the way to LA area. And it was like when you met somebody, you would literally ask, do you know this person? Because you knew that this person was doing whatever. And most of the time they knew that person. I don't have no judgment, which is why I haven't called the person a name. What I'm saying is there's a reason why somebody is doing that, because in the moment of having sex, you're touching. Touch is a sensation. Touch is something people need. Everybody don't get hugs, not even when they're kids. So it's certain things that because you need that piece, you'll do all the rest that goes around it because you want that piece. And no, you can't get it from that one because that one's married, that one's over here. So you're gonna line them up.
So
that's
I'm
what he
saying,
did.
when did he figure that out? After the
At
last
the
baby?
end, when he did the celibacy thing and didn't touch nobody, did nothing, he was still going through therapy, and realized how much he was actually hurt, because he said he was doing more than what was seen. He was drinking, he was partying, he was wilding out.
But he's still doing that. So after he went through,
No,
after he didn't have sex for 6 months, he had like 4 more kids after that, back to back.
There's a certain part of me that really believed that he was having kids, because you all know that he ill. So I figured that
Yeah.
he was trying to put his
That's what I was thinking too, on Everything I Love.
As many kids out there, before
So he can have, yeah.
I think so, because it's just him, I believe, and his dad. He said his dad told him, "Oh, go ahead and have as many as you want. Just go ahead and have more." But he did say that he said, "I don't know if I'm done or not, but I know for sure it's my body, my choice."
That's true.
My thing is, okay, you can have all those kids, Nick Cannon, and we almost get off the subject, but you have all those kids in different houses. So how you think they gonna feel? They don't have their daddy around. Them kids is not all in the same area or everything. So the void that you're feeling now, your kids is gonna feel that, because you having all these different kids with all these different women. Like, you have to make that make sense.
How many people we know? I mean, I got a whole kid. I mean, my ex-husband. Come on.
That's a lot of people's reality, though, bro.
Involved in none of the kids.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people reality, but not like that. Y'all ain't got no 10, 12 kids in different places.
How many does she have now?
I think he got like 12 kids.
Yeah, he do got a lot of kids, and they got a whole
so that's what I'm saying. A lot of us have grew up like that. But I'm saying, Nick Cannon, if you know and you went to therapy and you're saying because you're trying to fill a void or whatever, why would you do that to your children? It's no way possible that your children will feel that way, because you everywhere. It's no way you can do that. That's the whole point
of selfishness. We all
yeah, that's very selfish.
And what it was, and I believe maybe it was just a point where he was just selfish, where he was just like, fuck
it was, because he said he was wilding out. I don't care. But he also said, well, if they wanted, he said, no, they was intentional. I wanted them. So if everybody is different, that's all I could say, because I personally believe that, because it is, by definition of the word, anybody that has a baby and you're not married, you're being selfish. But I don't know if I would be selfish.
Now,
but
see,
I know that's the main reason.
I disagree with that. I feel like you could be,
because I was like, I don't want this for my kid, but you can't. Like I tell you all the time, look at me now. So I get.
But I feel like you can be married, and people wait to get married to have kids, and that don't mean nothing either, because you can have.
At least you did it right to begin with, Ro. That's the point.
But who
that's
says
the point of everything?
But where do it really say that
that's right? If you got both your parents and both parents are involved and you at least started out the right way, then you did do it right. If you having a baby by somebody that's not taking care of their kids, that don't do all of these things, you knew that this child was going to have to deal with that type of person.
Some people don't know that.
I can say that because I come from that. My mom knew that she was going to have me by herself. Mm-hmm. That was selfish to her. However, with my mother, because I know what she went through and all of those things, and I didn't have a hard life, and I did feel love, I'm okay with that. But everybody's not okay with that. It is that a selfish act. It is, but it's your right.
I don't think that always selfish, because even, I'll be honest, even when I had my last kid with T, by that time, yes, he was an alcoholic, and I already knew that we probably wasn't gonna, make it all the way through, but why punish the kid because somebody else is acting up? I tried.
Well, you can punish the kid.
Meaning, like how you're saying, like, hey, to keep having kids, knowing I knew that T wasn't going to take care of his kids. I knew that he was going to basically be how he was going to be, but I still had.
Oh, but you still had the baby. That's what you're saying.
I think you should. If it was already there, yeah, I think you should. But I'm talking about
a lot of women, you go into that,
is selfish.
So it's
you're making a decision for somebody else that they have to live with. You make that self, right?
Yeah.
You made
But
that
then some,
decision for yourself, but you're not the one that has to deal with the bulk of it. The other
You're right.
person does, and they didn't have a choice. It's no way around that. It's no
but
way
then
around it. But
in some situations, that person don't show them signs of not being
that's
a
there's
deadbeat
nothing
dad.
wrong with it. You missing the whole point. If they don't show the signs, you did everything you could so that it could line up the way it could. Tomorrow
That's
I could be crazy. It's a thin line between sanity and insanity, right? Tomorrow I could go crazy. But on today
I
I
just,
have that baby because I have a great job. I have this, I have
mm,
that. But maybe I don't have it tomorrow. Anything could happen. The point
that's
is that when you make the decision, was it that you can't control the rest of the everything?
I
And
just
I
feel when
think that's
people
the
say
part.
that is like, oh, you doing it right or you doing it wrong. I don't feel like it's a right or a wrong way. Like I literally
Most
don't
people
feel like
don't
it's a
now, and
wrong.
that's the problem. That's
Yeah, I
why a lot
don't
of
feel
us
like
is
it's the
walking
wrong
around with
way.
problems.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why a
true.
lot of us is
But
walking
I just
around with
feel
problems.
the only reason why I feel like that is because I've seen so many people to wait to get married and go through the same thing that people didn't. So that's why I say it's not a right or a wrong way. Like at that moment, you may thought it was going to be right and it seems perfect, and then it goes left. So that's why I say like it's no wrong or right way because you really don't know what the
As
future
long
holds.
as you
that's true.
set it up appropriately, that's all that matters. You cannot control what happens in the end. That's it. You don't get to extend it out. It's what you do today. If I give you $100 today and you play the lotto, you're gonna win. If I don't give it to you and you don't play it, you're not gonna. It's either black or white. You don't get
Yeah,
to say what tomorrow. That's
and
why
even with
I
those,
think that's too why if you ever notice when a kid gets a little bit older, and another thing I would do is again have these uncomfortable conversations because these are a part of it. The person needs to know how you feel about things to know how you're going to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like you could treat treat a kid like your own. In this household, we're very strict. In this household, certain things can't happen. So you're asking me to treat them like they are mine, but you're not accepting that I'm not treating them like you treat them. I'm treating
right?
them like they're mine. There's a difference. You get what I'm. There's a difference. But when if you notice, like even in the movies and stuff or a therapy, they'll ask you, "Have you talked to your parent?" And when you ask if they have talked to their parent, and some people say, "Well, yeah, I understood it because of this and because of that, and they did do this." Generally, if the mother or father has had that conversation that needed to be had, by the time you're our age, you're like, I get it. Because you've been through stuff.
Right,
You get
right.
what I'm saying? Because you're like, oh, y'all was in love, but then this happened. Oh man, okay, dad went away to the service and then he got on drugs. Oh crap, you did this and you hurt your back. And then you get what because
Right.
you started it out right, the kid still feels love. And that kind of trumps that is going to happen. The mothers are yeah, the mothers are you aware. Um they're
But
very
that goes
responsible
back
as
to
well.
the relationships with
I
that.
agree.
Even if your relationship doesn't work and you have children involved, you still need to learn how to communicate and all that because
Absolutely.
now
That's a
you
good
have
one.
yeah now you got children involved. Y'all gonna
You
have to
do, but
communicate
not
for the rest
everybody.
of y'all life. For the
Not
rest of your life,
everybody.
you're gonna have to communicate. So
Not
that's a
every.
part too with parents are everything goes left and
Right.
everything. They don't want to talk to their daddy. I can't stand him, and then they taking the kids away. But in actuality, y'all need to have a good relationship, a good
That's true for the kids,
communication
and I think a lot.
relationship for the child now.
I think a
I
lot of
like
people don't
Danielle's
realize
example
that.
earlier when she said she got
I
to the point where she was
co-parent.
like, let's start this conversation later or let's
Yeah,
stop here.
and I can honestly say, out of my co-parenting now, we co-parent good. We co-parent to the point where we actually just came from a trip from driving to California and back. And believe it, there is no type of anything there. It is strictly co-parenting.
People can be in
But
the same room
how
and
You
not
can
sleep
be in the
how
together.
same
I
room.
see it
Yeah,
is
you
that
should
because
be
people don't
able to do that. You
understand is
have
that
children
this
together.
is how you
Right.
have to see it. That's the father of my kids, right?
Your
Yep.
If,
family.
if anything happens to him and I'm willing to help him in any type of way, guess what? I got to explain to the kids why this happened to your daddy. And I could have helped him over something petty.
Right.
So that's why we keep
Right.
it like that. Just with me, if
I
my tires
agree.
broke down tomorrow, I can break down the side of the road. And I promise you, I can call him and he'll come. And it has nothing to do with us being together. It's just the whole point is, as he'll tell me, you're the mother of my kids, so you're gonna leave me shredding on the fucking road, or you gonna if you can
Right.
help me, come get me.
How long
You
did it
know,
take for you guys to get to that place?
it didn't take years. It did take some time because first we was all mad at each other, and especially if I tried to do date or anything, and then it was that my kids and this, so we weren't getting along. Then we have our times where as we first broke up, we tried to do the whole like, oh well, let's try to work on it, and yeah, we were sleeping together, and that was causing a problem because I knew in my mind that I wasn't going back. Like this is done for me. So what it started doing was causing a confusion, and now which means that now we're arguing. Now he's not coming to see the kids, whatever the case may be. So once we realize, and I've come to terms, we have to dead all of that. We know that we don't want to work on it. Our relationship is toxic. We're not meant to be together. We're good.
Right.
And everything else. But the relationship, once we realize, hey, this relationship shit don't work for us. It's not for us. We have to focus on the kids. The kids are our main focus. And
Right.
That's what we do. We go school shopping together. We go make sure, when there's a birthday, we take them out together as a birthday. It's not you're gonna be with
your mom and dad.
I'm gonna be here, and like it's not always all peachy and cream. But like I said, if I feel like you're a little off tone, guess what? I get to pick up my daughter and walk in the house. I don't have to answer that phone call right now, and we just respect that. We talk to each other a whole lot better. And that's where I learned the whole, maybe how I deliver things. Maybe I'm coming off too angry, or, maybe he's taking it. What if he had a bad day at work and I come out and I'm having a bad day and I'm trying to explain to him about the kids, but now he's yelling at me because he had a bad day, but I'm not knowing that,
Right.
So now I have to start paying attention to his body language. I mean, I've been with him for 13 years, so I should know when his face look or the way he move, if he's agitated or if things like that. So now I learn how to approach certain things, or what to say, or what time to say. But other than that, we focus on the kids. It's all about the kids. We don't talk about dating. We don't talk about relationships. That's nobody's business.
No, I love that. Me and Asia had talked about that before. I was like, I feel like in the Black community, they don't see that enough now. Like parents being able to co-parent and get along and be able to take their kids out together and all that. Like their kids want both of their parents there. Like they don't want to just have their mama party and then
they want
daddy
everybody.
Party. They
all
want
the
everybody
siblings
there. Like I literally love that. I always say they don't see
it
that.
does affect the kids, because with my oldest son, our oldest, he'll tell you like, hey, he wants mom and dad to be together, but hey, that can't happen, and we know this. So instead of being together and giving you guys fighting and yelling and screaming, we can be together this way, when it's something.
I like that.
Event, whenever he's playing his violin or something, we go as a whole family. We go sometimes in one car, we meet, and then we part ways. They don't see us. Before, when we were together, it was the craziness and the fighting and
right.
stuff. I would give anything to give what I give them right now. So, but you're right. We are taught when we're not together, you're supposed to hate that person. Why y'all talking? Why
right.
Who says these kids are here?
All of those dumb things.
For the rest of our life, we got to be parents until either they
right.
die or we die. We parents. So are we going to fight forever? Or we
You're still family.
That's why kids grow up and don't know how to communicate with their relationships and everything.
That part.
They go back to their mama and daddy.
It's us and them.
Exactly. Well, I see mama and daddy fighting all the time. So when they get a relationship, they think that is normal. So if they see their mom and daddy communicating and getting along and everything, then they know that that's how it's supposed to be.
And it makes them feel safe, because to her point, like she said, we can't give you us in this way, but we can give you us in this way. You still fulfilled their need. To me, that's still an amazing parent.
Your dad.
Exactly.
Still have both.
I don't have to choose. I see they like each other. They're better as friends, but we're happy. That actually matters, and that feeds into, like you said, how we get when we are older. A lot of us shut down because maybe we saw our parents do that. Maybe that was the healthiest thing because they didn't argue.
Because your kids learn love from you, so you show them, how to love. If you fighting all the time, just like you said, they're gonna go into their relationship fighting with their person, because that's what they were taught. So all you can do, I can show them, hey, you don't have to be together to have respect.
Right. Oh, she said everything I say. Oh, I love somebody else said this. Because that's just how I feel.
Want to know, when did it stop being that because this is a human, I'm gonna do it? If I saw any friend, any person that I have known before sitting on the side of the road with a flattened tire, I'm going to stop and ask if they're okay. So why is it not okay if Mark go and see if his baby mama's okay? I don't have a problem with that. I don't need to get in the car when he drop them off and all that other shit. I don't need to do that. I'm not involved in conversations unless he wants to involve me. some stuff, but on a day-to-day where it's because you're uncomfortable, I think it's crazy. It should be because you want to be inclusive and want everybody together, not because you're trying to like make things. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, even in situations like that, if you getting married, I feel like the baby mama needs to be, everybody needs to go to therapy first and foremost. And then the baby mama, you come too, because now I got to deal with you too. So I need to learn.
Therapy.
Yes, I need to see how we going to deal with each other too. So you come to therapy too.
Yep. I think that a lot more, that should be in marriage counseling. It should be before and then it should be after, because, you know, after, now your role has changed. Now you're not the boyfriend no more and the girlfriend. You're actually in the mix and you are involved. And you like it when your kids have more of everything. Why wouldn't you want them to have more of all of it? Not just, you don't get to pick me like a vending machine. Like, I'm not your pet or your science project. It's either all or none. That's not how that works. And people feel like, well, we was here first. That's always going to be his kid. And I'm the only one he chose.
She get on my nerves.
But it's true. You only have one wife and one husband. You can have 13 kids and they go and have their family. You can have 37 baby mamas. You can only have one wife, one husband. So where people get all of this, well, you know, you only going to have one mama. Okay. And that's totally different than a wife. Everybody needs to learn their position too. I honestly wish that we would have gone through family counseling with every goddamn body.
Oh yeah,
because they are.
You have to nowadays. It's you got to, like,
their wires crossed. Everybody needs to learn what their role and their position is. And everybody, there are two number ones, first of all. Well, three number ones. The father, you can only have one. The mother, you can only have one. And the wife. But none of those roles cross and do the same thing, except for love you wholly and completely. And every one of them chose you. Because that mother chose to have you, that dad chose to have you, and that wife chose to say yes. So you respect them all. It should all be cohesive. But, you know, some people like to roar. And okay. But yes, that is the other thing I would do in my relationship. I would have pressed more for, no, everybody need to sit down or we not walking.
Oh, yeah.
See how everybody acts, because y'all tripping. And it's not that serious.
like people's belief is important. I need to know what you believe in. You know, what's your values and morals.
And I want everybody in the same room.
They different in a relationship, and you know, you go in there and it's like, wait a minute, you know, if your morals and stuff ain't the same, it ain't gonna work.
Right.
It's not. And if you are not capable of closing yourself off, I believe that there's a time in a marriage too where you need to close yourself off. Because you're learning each other as husband and wife. And if there are children involved, the focus are the children and ensuring that everybody's mental health is okay. Everybody, that way you could pay attention to. That's the reason why we miss things like body language. One of the things that I feel like I missed late with Mark was body language, because he doesn't communicate all the time certain things that he wants. And those are things that are really important. But I saw them once I closed my computer and actually paid attention to what does he look like when he walks in the door. I didn't really see. He would walk in and oh, hi, babe, I love you. And he would get in the shower, but I didn't see you. Once I closed the laptop, I did see what he looked like when he was saying it, different things. So it made me start acting different.
You can tell if he had a hard day at work, was, you know,
if traffic was bad, just anything.
That's true.
And just asking him. And it makes so much more of a difference. Because I did it when he would get into bed, and when he was done, I call myself leaving him alone, because I'm the opposite. I want to be left alone when I come in. Give me a minute.
Let me gain myself back before we start talking about it.
Talk to me so I can make sure I bring my voice down and there's no miscommunication. That's me, right? So I'm doing only what I know. So with him, it was very different. He's okay with me meeting him in the middle of the street and jumping on him like a spider monkey. He likes stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know until I knew.
Yeah. You gotta.
That's why it's important to also be patient with your partner and to be I think it's very interesting that we make a lot of excuses for our friends, a lot of excuses for our boyfriends, a lot of excuses for why our families do things. But then when you get married, you expect perfection because they got that title of husband and wife. You expect your wife to be on it every time, dinner, bed, whatever they want. They expect that to be ready. You from your husband, you expect that he can cut the grass, build a house, do this. And it takes time, especially when we haven't seen husband and wives in home. And we don't do that. We're very hard on each other very quickly.
That's true. And sometimes we take a lot of the things that we've been in old relationships into the new relationship. And that's another thing. Is that everything always leads back to communication. Because
It does.
my ex-husband, I have a bad day at work, right? And when you pick me up on a bad day, I want to talk about it instantly. I can't wait. The whole time I'm like, I can't wait till my husband come get me because I'm about to tell him everything that's been going on and how they've been getting on my nerves. But then, I'm ready to go. But then I get in the car with him. He's like, I don't feel like hearing about work right now. And it's like, but I got so much to say. But because you go with someone now, say now I'm with somebody else. And maybe this person want to hear about my day. But because I've been with this person for so long, that shuts me down every time I get into the car and want to talk about it. Now I'm no longer, I'm taking that same trait. And he's looking at me like,
I got in a lot of ask Hilda. I got in the last relationship before I got married. The relationships before that, like I said, I didn't trust. If I don't love you, I could be in a relationship with you and I'm not sleeping with you. You're not at my house. I'm getting to know you. I'm a very, very, very closed off person in that way. I just am. But with the last two, I knew one since second grade, since forever. He was my first love. I was going to marry him. And then the one that I married. But with them, it was very hard for me to talk. I had things to say, but it was like, now every time to me, it was, now's not the time. They a black man and they coming in and this, all of these things that we're told, okay, now not the time because you can't send them out into the world upset. You can't say nothing. So you just holding all this shit in you got to say, like, when is that the time?
He about to go with his homies. I don't want to make him too mad because I don't want him to find a bitch that's going to be all nice. Like,
exactly. I don't want him out there fighting. I don't want him out there getting angry if a cop pull him over because these are the things that we are brainwashed with because the reality is, are black men afraid when they go out the house? I'm pretty sure that they are, but black women are too. And we're afraid inside of the home too. And black men need to pay attention to that because a lot of the things that we are doing is because we're still reserved. We're still scared. We're still all of these things. And that's what you need to pay attention to from us because we're not right for doing what we're doing because we could just tell you, but you could also know that the same way we've done all of these things because what could happen, we could be raped. We could be kidnapped. We could be, all of those things could happen to us too. And with the numbers as high as they are, that's only what's reported. And then we got to deal with you too, because y'all come in sometimes on a 10. Okay. I'm just saying. And we don't react right. I should not have thrown that knife. I get it. I'm just saying. We have stuff too. And I think that is going to be the next show. Some of the things that we go through that equate to, well, the black man got it hard. Yeah, you do. And the black woman has been right there next to you every step of the way.
And I feel like not only do we have it hard from just the world ourselves, I feel like we have it hard from our men also.
Absolutely.
And I don't
that's our biggest problem, our biggest hurt.
Yeah.
That's our biggest scar.
Right.
And sometimes it happens before we was born.
Yeah.
Because again, that selfish decision possibly was made.
It's a lot. It is a lot. I'm not saying, like I said, it's always scales, but sometimes it's heavier on one side than it is the other. But within the black community, especially with black men, I feel like they really be down on women. I mean, I've had a husband that he don't like dark-skinned girls. He like light-skinned girls. Nigga, your mama's black. It should. How do you do something like? So wait, not only do you have it within our community, but then you also got it on the outside. So
wait, I want to please let's table that one. I need you to table that because I need somebody else here because it's some men that's been admitting some shit, and please admit it because we are not crazy. Okay. We are being called insecure and all this other shit for shit we really see, but we're the only ones that see it, and then you go out there and call us crazy. We're not crazy.
I deal with my ex-husband, he really feels that way. He feels like all black women have attitudes.
And I'm pretty sure it's because his mother yelled at him too much or something like that.
Not. That's the thing. His mom did not. That's why it's so crazy. You know, like sometimes I have to be like, hey, you know, your daughter is black too. Like they all don't have. You ever had a person call and tell their kid, don't be with a black girl, be with another race? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a lot within the black community. That's not just him. That's a lot of people. It's like,
yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, we look. I'm like, oh yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
We
I've
know
heard
that.
of it.
We know that for sure.
So the next week's topic is going to be, dear black man, can you please stop doing this? Here's what we are going to do. We're going to think about it. Next week, we are going to do this topic. And the way that we are going to communicate our needs is not going to be in a way that we attack, because that doesn't solve anything. It's going to be in a way that we truly explain. And this is hard for black women. You broke my heart. You hurt me. That's why this is not okay. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I am hurt. And that is what we're going to say. Even though we're taught, you know, you're not supposed to tell them that. But so for closing remarks, with which one of you want to go first?
Who you talking about?
It don't matter.
And it will be your best piece of advice for any woman trying to better themselves in a relationship. What's a tip that you would want to give them?
My tip is just communicate. Don't ever feel like you're walking on eggshells, because it's never, once till you get to the point where you feel like you're walking on eggshells, it's never going to let up, and it's going to get worse. And you're going to get into that point where it feels like it's a heaviness on your shoulders, where you're scared to say something because you don't want that other person to react or get into a certain type of argument or upset them. It's just put it out there. And if it leads to the point where you guys are not meant to be, just know that maybe that's not what it is, or maybe you just need therapy. You know, it's one of the two. But just whatever you do, don't be in a relationship where you don't communicate, and don't ever be in a relationship where you feel like you're walking on eggshells.
Mm-hmm. I'll back off of that too. I feel like everybody needs to communicate. I feel like the person that you are with, they almost need to, well, not almost, they need to be your best friend, because you need to feel like you could tell them everything. You shouldn't have to hide secrets from them or nothing. Like whoever you with, that needs to be your best friend. So you have to communicate that in the beginning, your feelings, and how would you feel if this happened? Let them know, so I can know, like I said, if we're compatible or not. Because I need you to be my best friend. I need to be able to tell you how I feel about everything. I don't want to have to hide nothing from you at all. That would be my thing. And if you feel like that, I just feel like that's it. They need to be your best friend, to where you can tell them everything.
I need to tell you if I was constipated yesterday or not.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, they need to be able to tell you everything. I need to be able to talk to you like I talk to my best friends. I need to be able to pillow talk with you and know you ain't about to tell nobody. Like, you need to be my best friend. I need to be able to tell you everything. And I feel like I have to hide nothing from you. I don't want to hide nothing from you.
So that was going to be my advice. My advice is, yeah, it was actually going to be that the person that you are sleeping with, intimate with, married to, baby daddy, whomever you have as your life partner in whatever capacity you want to call them, that person should be your best friend. That person should be the person you write on your emergency card. That person should be able to pick up your phone. That person should know when your period is, to know when they got you pregnant. That person should know. You guys should be carbon copies of each other, because you guys are partners and you are one and you move together. So that would be my advice, to make sure that you don't continue to lean only on your friends and only on your family, or be a daddy's girl, things like that. You have to move away from that and become one with your partner. You keep those relationships, but that role is deserved and owed to your partner. That way they feel like you're complete. So that is my advice. So next week we are going to have 2 more guests, plus Miss Rowe and whomever she invites. And then my sister will return, because we are going to talk about, dear black man, this is how you hurt us.
Ooh, girl, I'm gonna have a whole long list. No, okay.
But we are going to say it in a way that is nice, and we're going to work with Roe, y'all. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure that you follow on Instagram. Have an amazing night and enjoy Taco Tuesday. Good
Good night, everybody.
Good night.